What's going on, Lakers fans, and welcome into episode 31 of the LakeShow Flow. I am your host, Gio. As the Lakers pick up their biggest win of the season against the Nuggets, 123-100, and Luka Magic has finally showed himself in a Lakers jersey. But before we get into the game, before we talk about what this could mean for the future of this team, I just want to remind you guys, if you're new, if you're new here or you've been here, like the video, comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Put some notifications on. It's been a while. It's been a minute since I recorded a podcast. The Lakers played 3 games in between, after the All-Star break, and now I'm back for this game. A lot of stuff had been going on, but I'm back, and I'm excited. And hopefully, despite anything that I got going on, I can just get these episodes out and just talk about this team, because it's exciting right now. It's just insane to me, the difference that this trio is making with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reaves. It's insane. Now this game, okay, let me just talk about the production first, because the numbers speak for themselves, but there's also some context that needs to be heard, okay? So the Lakers, their trio, LeBron James, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Austin Reaves, 23 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. And Luka Doncic, damn near a 32-point triple-double with 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. And trust me, if it wasn't such a blowout and he didn't have to stagger his minutes so much, because it seemed like there was a point in the third where the Nuggets really wanted Jokic for a stretch run, to end the third going into the fourth. And so Luka, he pretty much matched it. Him and Reaves didn't come in for a while, and they were waiting. They had LeBron out there with the more defensive lineup, and it was working out. They kept the lead pretty much intact. An unsung hero here was Rui Hachimura with 21 points. He did have a little injury scare. He was able to come back, but he played his ass off too. Rui has actually been... He's basically playing to keep his starting job, to be honest. But as I said, Luka could have had a 40-point triple-double if the game was actually competitive. But here's the exciting part about Luka Doncic finally looking like the guy, the generational talent that all Laker fans have been excited, but yet some, a little let down, a little impatient about when this Luka was going to show up, right? And trust me, there was a part of me, I was thinking damn, when is Luka going to finally look like himself? And apparently, during the break, he went to Cabo, but he was also working and doing workouts with Scott Brooks, who, if people don't know who that is, he's the former coach of the Thunder, and he coached them all the way to the finals when they had KD, Harden, and Westbrook, the young trio. And he did workouts every day of that vacation, so he made it more of a work type of vacation where it's okay, I'm going to still put in my reps. And so that was encouraging to hear. We got that report today. And also, they lifted his minute restriction, and this wasn't even full-blown Luka minutes either. Even though the minute restriction was lifted, he still only played 31 minutes. On a normal basis, I expect that number to be 35 to 37, right? We've seen Luka play heavy minutes, and if it's needed, I'm pretty sure JJ's going to have him out there. But the way JJ was finally able to coach this team was based around Luka and LeBron being able to have staggered shifts. And I think that makes a difference, because if you can go the entire game basically having one or the other, Luka or LeBron, on the court, it's insane, because the defenses, no matter what shifts they have out there, whether it's the starters, the bench unit, it doesn't matter. They're going to have to deal with they call them supercomputers. I've heard people call LeBron and Luka these supercomputers out there. And Austin may not be a supercomputer either, but he's just another guy that you can stagger with those guys and let him lead a unit if you want to. But most of the time, they were one or the other was in there. And I thought that was just perfect. And the duo itself just... It's starting to look like they're getting the gears turning in their head. They're starting to learn each other's spots. Luka's starting to make better cuts. He's starting to play off of LeBron and Austin Reaves in the two-man game that they're running. He's making better cuts off of that. He's not just standing around watching. And it's just a huge difference. And not to mention today, the defense that they played on the Nuggets, the Lakers, it was they dared Aaron Gordon, who did have a great game. They dared him, Michael Porter, and Russell Westbrook to basically beat them. And it almost looks scary at times, because I feel like they were kind of getting a lot of production out of those guys. But taking Joker out of it and putting all these different looks at him. They were sending people off the baseline to go kind of look like they're going to double, but then they'd shoot people around. The rotations were just crazy. Like, I kept seeing all the activity. They kept making Jokic like throw the ball like in places he didn't want it to go. They forced some turnovers. Jokic only scored, I believe it was 12 points. Yeah, 12 points this game. So that's all you can ask for. Like, if you're forcing Jokic to only score 12 points, I'll take that all the time, and I'll always feel confident the Lakers can get the job done. And like I said, whatever JJ's defensive schemes are, the offense of this trio that we have, whatever he is preaching, this team is buying in. And it was just important to start off this new era of Luka being on the Lakers against the Nuggets. It was important for them to start this off with the win, because it's like, you have to turn that page. All the old, the nasty taste that Laker fans have had in our mouths with the Nuggets beating us, they've been a pain in the ass for the last 2 years. All that, we had to put an end to that. And I'm glad that Luka, he knew the importance of this game. He knows, like, he has his own, beef with like every Western Conference team from when he was on the Mavs, and he would, beat some of these teams in the playoffs. But I'm pretty sure he knew very, very wisely, like, he knows that the history between the Lakers and the Nuggets, I know he knew that it wasn't pretty. And so he came out here like, all right, I need to show out for the fans. Like, he was hitting these step back, threes with defenders closing out. He was finishing more aggressive at the rim. He even had some defensive hustle. Like, and that's the problem, or not the problem. It's actually a beautiful thing. This isn't even Luka at his best. I would say he's like 75% there. And you got to, I would say last year's final run, he was like a 70% by the time they got to the finals. So this version of Luka is capable of carrying a team to the finals, right? Can you imagine what this version of Luka, as he continues to ramp up, as he gets to 85, 90%, 95%, I don't expect 100%. I just don't. I feel like once that season begins, I've heard it. Shout out to Jovan Buha. He gave a quote, and I don't remember if he remembered who said it. But he said that basically, no matter what, once the first tip-off happens, you're never 100%. So I think Luka can, at least, if he can get to 90, even 85%, if I say he's 75, can you imagine just how amazing this team can look? And like I said, we didn't have a center today, okay? Like, we have Jackson Hayes, but but a lot of people call him almost like a tall wing, the way he plays the game. He's not really like a defensive center. He's not really even a rebounding center. And even without that, everyone expecting Jokic to just pop the hell off, and they still held Jokic to 12 points. This defense and the way they were pouncing on everybody, nobody got anything easy. Like, the easiest things were some late closeouts, open shots. There were some things like that. There were some missed assignments. Like, Aaron Gordon's always going to make a good cut, and Jokic will feed him. But there was not an insane amount. Most of his points were from threes. And he does like to shoot against the Lakers, but them only relying on him and Jamal Murray and then some Westbrook production off the bench, who he did play good. But that's not enough when the trio of LeBron and Reaves and Luka are all scoring 20 plus, right? And then you have Rui that threw in 21. So it's like, it was just the perfect storm. And the thing is, I don't even feel like the chemistry is where it needs to be yet. I don't feel like Luka, like I said, he's not even 100%. But LeBron is just insane. Like, I don't know what to say. This guy's 40 years old. He just dropped 40 in Portland the other day. He comes into this game, has another great one, and you can just tell he's locked in, because he did take the All-Star game off, and there was questions of if was he going to play in back-to-backs when we had, or was he even going to play? I'm sure people were worried about this game, but he showed that break that he took, the extended time, was for a reason. And now I could see him taking off Tuesday's game. It's a game that Luka's going to hold really personal to himself. He's playing the Mavericks. They don't have, Anthony Davis, but they're not like full health, and they have some centers issues, like a bunch of injuries. So I could see LeBron saying, you know what, Luka, this is your revenge game. You and Austin, go handle business. Like, you never know. So he deserves a break at this point. When you drop 40 at 40 years old in the last game and then have a great game against Denver, the king deserves a rest, right? Like, go sit at the throne, take a nap, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't be surprised if he plays, though, because I know that at the end of the day, he wants to win, and they got to get as many wins as they can. The schedule gets very hard. Like, I think they're like the number one ranked, like, difficult schedule going forward, the most difficult going forward. So that's going to be something to think about. But at the end of the day, this team has proven in this game that they can not only beat Denver now without a center. All I keep thinking when I see this team functioning at a high level like this, and I'll get into the games that I missed a little bit and some critiques in that, but all I keep thinking is like, damn, we're going to add a big to this team. Like, there's going to be very few minuses in terms of like who we keep and all that. And we have assets that could go out to get a big. So I just keep thinking, if this team just had another center, an actual, like, a guy that's more respectable in terms of rim defense, all that, like, it's going to be insane. Like, if they don't win it this year, next year, they should be the favorites, honestly. But I wouldn't be surprised if we talk about that potential of this team. Like, I would not be surprised if this team wins the championship with LeBron, Luka, and AR just playing their hearts out. And let's talk about Jackson Hayes, man. Nobody expected him to step into this role with AD being out and just excel. Because here's the thing, Jackson Hayes, he's not the most explosive scorer. He's not the most explosive rebounder. He only scored 4 points with 4 rebounds today, right? But it was his energy. Like, they had him mic'd up. So it was just a rare opportunity to actually hear, like, what is he thinking on the floor? How is he communicating? He's one of the most vocal guys out there. And he doesn't have to be that, because we have, this trio of great players that I mentioned already, even like Rui, who's a vet at this point, and we have other leaders that could be speaking out more. But I feel like Jackson Hayes was just so vocal and calling out defensive assignments, like moving around. Like, he had a lot of athleticism that was out there, and he was showing it, and he was showing a lot of, hustle, and the whole team, man. Vando, if he didn't like get in such foul trouble, who knows? The Lakers could have been up by more at an earlier point, but Vando was in foul trouble. He was just hustling, though. Everything was hustled at. And then you had Dorian Finney-Smith, who I just love Dorian Finney-Smith. The energy levels, the shooting, the offensive boards, the tip outs. Like, there's so many opportunities that Dorian Finney-Smith gives this team that were not there. He creates opportunities, and I love that about Dorian. So I really hope that they re-sign Doe, because he's just such a good player. Like, he's just one of those guys you'd love to have on your team, like a Trevor Ariza, like a player that is going to do something no matter, even if he's not scoring, he's going to be doing so many other things that make a huge difference. So I just love the role players on this team. I believe we still need, another center, but the small ball identity that JJ has bought into, and I said this in the last episode, I talked about how the Lakers kind of need to just buy into the small ball and let it be their full identity, because for all intents and purposes, if you have Jackson Hayes out there, he is kind of like a small ball center, the way he plays the game. He's not an interior, like, crazy, like, intimidator down there. He's not really that type of center. So you kind of do have a full-blown small ball team, and it's what we got left with when the Mark Williams trade didn't end up going through. So it's something to adapt to, I'm sure, especially with the team, not having someone like AD to be back there and making up for all their mistakes. But they've been buying in, and they've proven, like, this Denver team, it's not like they were on a bad, loss streak or something, or losing streak. They literally had won 9 games in a row. They went up to the 3rd seed, which with this win, the Lakers get within 1 game of that 3rd seed, right? So it's a beautiful thing, the way the Lakers are playing. Like, beating a team this hot, beating a team that had your number. There was all these bad habits that people expected to kind of show up no matter what, because the Lakers have, like, this identity when it comes to playing against them. But they shot all that down, and they made it look easy. And I'm just excited going forward. I feel like I said, we haven't even reached the peak, or we haven't even seen the peak of what this team can be, and that's what makes it the most exciting. And I think this team is geared to make a huge playoff run, as long as everyone's healthy, as long as Luka is able to be Luka. And that's one thing that people were worried about, and I mentioned it a little bit. It got discouraging. It got a little discouraging when you saw Luka being a little slow, being a little more like, I just felt like with the minutes restriction, he wasn't able to get in a full rhythm. Like, he needs to take some shots. He needs to see them go in, and he's one of those momentum-based players, right? And no matter what, his rebounding was there, his assists were there, but I felt like his full-blown outbursts of scoring just wasn't able to be shown yet. And a lot of people were asking, like, did the Lakers lose the trade? Was Nico Harrison right, like the GM for Dallas? And I just kept kind of shrugging it off. Like I said, there was a little concern just because you hadn't seen it yet. But now that you have, it's like, man, I can't wait till my jersey comes in. I can't wait to go see him and LeBron play. Like, I have to see it at least one time before LeBron hangs it up, and it's just an exciting time to be a Laker fan. The last couple games I missed, they did have that really, really crappy loss to the Jazz, and a lot of people freaked out about it, but it was right before the All-Star game, right? And it's kind of like everyone's in that vacation mode mindset, which isn't an excuse. I really wish they would have said, you know what, we need this win, and I wish they would have hustled their asses off, right? Then the next game, out of the All-Star break, we play against Charlotte, who you would think they'd have like a vendetta, like that whole rescinded trade and all that. They came out a little flat, not a lot of effort. And then Luka ends up sitting the next game against the Trailblazers, and that's where Austin and LeBron just go off. So you have LeBron go off for 40 at 40 years old, which is, like I said, insanely impressive. And you had Austin Reaves drop a 30-piece too. So it's exciting that they were able to do that. I was a little worried, but I'm glad that they saved Luka, like his full. I'm pretty sure they're like, you know what? We said your next game was going to be no minutes restriction. Why do that against Portland? Like, we should be able to beat Portland without you. And so they sat him. And then you saw his first game without a minute restriction, and he goes off for damn near a triple-double. He looks like Luka. And like I said, though, I know that there's another level to this man. I know that he... and I get excited, and I can't help but smile to think there's another level that we have not even seen yet. It's insane. Like, he needs, once he goes into Super Saiyan mode, like, he's damn, like, this game with a full-blown, like, all his conditioning at 100%, a full-blown Luka for this, imagine it's a little bit more competitive. He could have dropped a 50-point triple-double, right? He had some staggered minutes today, like I said, working around when they were going to put Jokic in, so JJ kept him out for longer in the third, but he played the whole first quarter. He probably would have played the whole third if Jokic did. It's just exciting as hell because this guy's going to be the face of our franchise for the next 10 years. Plus, we have LeBron James, who there's already been reports that LeBron and his conditioning and him going to the arena early and Luka's family seeing that, as his dad's always around and stuff, but Luka's family and him seeing that, they were all impressed with that. It's like LeBron is able to give him the blueprint of what it is to be great for this long. Right? So in the end, this could end up being the most amazing thing for Luka's longevity. Because if people were concerned about him being, conditioned in Dallas and all this stuff, there's less of tongue twister. There's less of a spotlight out there. And I feel like he wasn't under that pressure to be always the 100% conditioned, right? But even with that, he still carried a team at about 70% to the finals. So I just think he's only going to work out a lot harder now. LeBron is going to help him with that. His training staff that he brought with him, the people that Dallas had fired at one point, when Luka was in pretty damn good shape at one point, and they fired the people that were helping him. So I don't know what that was. He got upset about that. The Lakers let him bring those people on. And like I said, it's exciting to know that he's only going to be gearing up for a much larger, a much more important run. And the Lakers just proved that they could, this team that nobody expected to win today, ends up beating... the team that nobody expected the Lakers to beat today. I mean, even the people at ESPN, they all chose the Nuggets to beat the Lakers, and they still got it done. So it's a new era of Laker basketball. It's exciting. I can't wait to cover the next game. Tuesday, Dallas has to come to LA. Luka just dropped 32 on the Nuggets. I ain't going to speak it into existence because I don't want to put that pressure on Luka. But I will say he could probably do the exact same thing he did today, and the Lakers end up blowing out Dallas. They should blow out Dallas. Dallas is shorthanded. Even if LeBron doesn't play, Dallas is shorthanded. So I expect a blowout, but like I said, if LeBron doesn't play, I could probably guarantee Luka scores at least 40. But if he does play, I could see him doing the exact same thing he did this game. And like I said, all in all, the most important, the biggest win of the season, the most impressive win of the season, and just starting this new era with Luka at the helm, it's been beautiful to watch. And just, we saw potential, but we didn't see it like this yet. You know what I mean? So it's a different level of excitement. I hope that the momentum continues. I hope this isn't I hope they don't have like a Super Bowl hangover. Like this isn't like their biggest win of the season, they just kind of calm down. Like, oh, we just won the championship. Like, we just beat that team that had our number. Like, no. I want to see them carry this over because they have a lot of they have a crazy tough stretch to end the month and to go into March. It's very tough. The schedule, even LeBron had put a post about it. So it's not going to be easy. But I'm just confident. The way that this team implemented, basically, it's like JJ has this way of maximizing the potential of everybody that he's got, everyone at his disposal. We even had Jordan Goodwin playing fourth quarter minutes, like important minutes. They wanted to send some more defensive pressure since Vando was in foul trouble. Jordan Goodwin is such a good two-way player too. And Gabe Vincent's been playing better defense. He's looking more like Miami Heat Gabe. Like I said, we got Dorian out there hustling. We have Jackson flying around. We got LeBron hustling because he doesn't have a bulk of the offense in his hands. He's got his two white boys doing the jobs for him sometimes. Like, he saves energy with Reaves and Luka handling the ball more. Even Reaves, more effort too, because he's not on the ball as much. So all the pressure you take off of these guys, it actually helps them play a little harder on defense. I'm going to say it again. I think the Lakers, this team, has the potential, as long as they keep buying in to this JJ Redick schemes on both sides of the ball, and his coaching staff too. We can't forget. You know, we got Nate McMillan, who's a former NBA coach, who I think he had been to the playoffs with them, and then you have Scott Brooks, who's been to a finals, and also a WNBA coach. I forgot her name, but they have a good staff. And like I said, credit to JJ because he is the vocal leader, and he has this team buying in. And as long as they keep doing that, I could see a potential championship. I could see a potential banner being risen at the beginning of next year. And this isn't even the full potential of this team as soon as they get a real starting caliber center. And I'd keep Jackson, man. Honestly, I'd keep Jackson for a backup role for next year. I'm sure he knows that he's probably not going to be the long-term starter. But who knows? He's still relatively young. If JJ and them could get him to just unlock a new level, him and Luka too, I mean, sky's the limit, I guess. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say it too crazy because we've kind of seen that Jackson does have a ceiling. But either way, it's an exciting time to be alive. It's an exciting time to be a Laker fan. And I hope you all feel that. I hope you all feel that energy. I hope everybody listening is just as excited as I am for the new era of Laker basketball. And yeah, I mean, in the next video, I will go over the Dallas game, and hopefully Luka shows out again. And hopefully all we can look forward to is, hey, we got a guy, like, he's the kind of guy that clears off everybody else. Like, he's literally waving people off to ISO. Like, it just reminds me of Kobe. It just reminds me of having that type of star, and we got it. We got it, guys. And I'm excited. If you're new here or you've been here, please like the video. Share the video, leave me a comment, and please remember to subscribe. Can't wait to get my boy Joe back in here, man. I hope you hear this one. But thank you guys for all the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Later, y'all.